Now, I've had my Tesla Model 3 now for over 3 years, and it hasn't set on fire once. So really, what more proof do you want? Hello, I've been challenged by an anti-EV person to provide some facts when I accuse misinformation videos of not telling the truth and being a little dishonest. As someone pointed out in the comments, there's a huge anti-EV industry grown up without any facts and information based on distortions. But that's not stopping them demanding facts from us, the keen EV drivers. I'm going to give you some facts about me owning a Tesla Model 3 for over 3 years. I'm going to cover EV charging at home and Tesla supercharging, as well as insurance costs and the risk of fire, and the big one, depreciation. Hi folks, my name's Nigel. Hope you can stick around. Maybe you could subscribe and like. And if you want to buy Jen and me a coffee, there's a link down below. Much appreciated. So I've done lots of videos showing my watts per mile, and I've averaged 242 since I've had the car and driven 24,725 miles. My nighttime electric rate is 8.5p. It was less, but it's gone up a little, and some people can get less. That's with Octopus. That's from 12:30 to 5:30 a.m. in the morning. I compared it to an Audi A3 that averaged 45 miles per gallon. Now, comparing the cost of diesel to my EV charging, it comes out at 1/8 the cost of diesel. And I think, on general, most people don't dispute that. There were some early ones that didn't believe we were getting electricity so cheap in the early hours of the morning. Some of them thought it was being subsidies. It's not. It's at a time when very few people are charging, and it's extremely cheap, and it's about the same price as the wholesale price. So nothing's being subsidised. The car's not subsidised, and the electric's not subsidised. So I'm about 1/8 the cost charging at home than if I was to go and get petrol, diesel from a gas station. But also the cost of superchargers. Jen and I have been on a number of road trips throughout the UK, Scotland, Cornwall, 5 or 6 times, as well as UK, Spain and Portugal's. But the Tesla superchargers will work out between 50 and 45% less than diesel and petrol. Now, the anti-EVers don't believe me when I presented the numbers, so I doubt if anything's changed. Now, I doubt it. So 242 watts per mile with 50 kilowatt battery gives me an average range in my car of 206 miles. It's ideal for my lifestyle at home or on longer European road trips. And the newer models, you're getting considerably more miles than my model, which is over 3 years old. Now, my 50 kilowatt cost to fully charge at home at night, 50 times 8.5 equals £4.25, and then I can travel 206 miles. Now, I've compared the numbers many times with diesel and petrol, averaging 45 miles per gallon, and my home electric charging costs 1/8 the cost of petrol or diesel. Now, sometimes I'm told by people that they get 80 miles per gallon in their vehicle, and if it was true, well, I would suggest it's not in as good a car as the Tesla Model 3. And if they are getting 80 miles per gallon, it's still working out a quarter of the price of my electric than their petrol or diesel. I've never charged at 85 kilowatt hour public chargers. They're often favoured by motoring journalists and YouTubers wanting to slant the facts of public EV charging is dearer than petrol. Now, Tesla superchargers on a road trip vary in price, but average in the region of 40p a kilowatt hour, depending on the time of day. And that works out at between 50 and 45% less than diesel and petrol. Please let me know your costs for charging your EV at home and public charging down below. Okay, insurance costs. Apparently it costs a fortune to insure an EV. Well, what I do is every year I shop around. It only takes half an hour to save hundreds of pounds, because this year's insurer will assume that I'm going to stick with them and they can bump it up a few £100, but I'm not that dumb. And every year they do exactly the same. So I've got no claims bonus, I am old, and by shopping around I always get the best price. So for the last 4 years, my Tesla Model 3 standard range People are often surprised what I've paid. 2021 I paid £378, 2022 £355, so it went down. Went up in 2023 to £568, and this year it went down to £406 for 2024. That was September. Please let me know your insurance costs for your EV. Okay, fire risk. EVs are a greater risk of fire, often appears in the comments. Many people are now experts on thermal runoff, but they're ignorant about petrol cars exploding in flames, and both can be extinguished by professional firefighters. EVs are a greater risk of fire is not true. Data from the US National Transportation Safety Board figures show that EVs in fires were 25 in every 100,000. Compare that to 1,530 gas vehicles and 3,475 hybrid vehicles were involved in fires for every 100,000, making hybrids much more likely to catch on fire. And EVs are less likely by a factor of 61 times less likely to catch on fire than an internal combustion engine. And data from Norway, Sweden, UK and Australia are consistent with the US, and the risk of fire is relatively low and considerably less than an ICE vehicle. Now, I've had my Tesla Model 3 now for over 3 years, and it hasn't set on fire once. So really, what more proof do you want? Depreciation. Now, this is a big one, and I've often been told many times that EVs depreciate more than ICE cars. And I've seen lists of the worst depreciating cars, and many of them are EVs, and none of them are Teslas, and also lists of the least depreciating cars. And my Tesla's not on any of them. But I can't find any information if my Tesla Model 3 depreciates more than a similar priced ICE car. So I decided to do my own test and not relying on the motoring magazines. A new Tesla Model 3, if you bought it today, would cost £39,990. So I went to Auto Trader, where you can't buy a brand new Tesla, only a used one, and I found a similar price car, and that was BMW Series 1. Now, it cost a bit more, £41,800, but it was reduced to £40,000, and that's what people say is Tesla is a fixed price. But if you're buying from a dealer, there's always a reduction. And so that was down to £40,000 within £10 of the Tesla Model 3. So I wondered what the BMW Series 1, if I was looking to buy a 2021 model with 24,000 miles on the clock. And I took the first ones I saw. So the first one, 2021 BMW Series 1, costs $18,290 to buy it now, and it had 22,000 miles on the clock, so less than the 24. Another 2021 BMW Series 1 costs $19,799 with 24,382 miles on the clock. So then I went to the 2021 Tesla Model 3, standard range, costing £21,061, 24,062 miles on the clock. And another 2021 Tesla Model 3 standard range costs £20,945, and it was 24,135 miles on the clock. So this is real world information, comparing a Tesla Model 3 with a BMW Series 1 depreciation from 2021 to 2024, using current Auto Trader information available to anyone, and it's easy to check by anyone. And if anything, the BMW has depreciated more. Now, I can understand some ICE makers' first attempts to make an EV. Depreciation is a lot for them. It's a learning curve for them, and some of them have made some big mistakes. But it's surprising why people ever bought some EVs, unless there was a brand loyalty. Maybe there was. Teslas do depreciate, some more than others, but it's not catastrophic. And that's fine, as I'm not selling. But it's good for buyers because they can now get a much cheaper Tesla or EV for that matter. So what's wrong with that? When EVs were too expensive, people complained, and now they've come down in price. But I'm not selling my Tesla, so I'm going to keep it for years and years. It's a great car, and it's the only new car I've ever bought. And I've spent a lifetime saving money buying 3, 4, 5-year-old cars. Anyway, thank you very much for getting this far. I hope you can subscribe and like. Very much appreciated. If you'd like to buy Jen and I a coffee, that would be fantastic. There's also a link down below. You can save £500 off a new Tesla or £1,000 if you're in the US. That's if you're thinking of buying a new one. But if you're not, suggest you have a look on Auto Trader, and the prices start around about £12,000. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.